Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What kind of slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm going to burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you. This is Bettor Off Dead. I'm Bettor Off Dead, probably. What day is it? Who knows? Tuesday, August 26th, something like that. Yesterday, slight losing day on the show. Terrible day. 2-2, I think, so it was a slight loss. We lost the first 2. My Boston Red Sox at least won to go against one of my plays. So Red Sox with a 4-3 win, I think is what that was. So the Baltimore play did not get there. Minnesota, Toronto under. Man, I mean, both starting pitchers in that one, they gave up some runs. I'm really surprised Joe Ryan gave up that many runs in that game. Both starting pitchers had a good strikeout-walk ratio in the game. Didn't walk a lot of guys, so it's not like they were both really terrible or anything like that. But that under, I mean, it was just doomed almost from the get-go. I mean, Toronto scored 4 runs in the first inning, and then it was completely over after that. And the starting pitchers didn't do terribly after that outburst in the first inning. But then we did get the wins in the final 2 plays to at least salvage the day. We had, or not salvage it, but make it almost a break even. We had Seattle and the Mariners. They were able to win that game. It was close early on. They broke away late, basically, and wound up winning the game. Cal Raleigh hit his 50th home run. He's now the record home run hitting catcher in Major League Baseball history. And then we also got the Cincinnati and Dodgers first 5 under, correct? That was a 3-0 Dodgers lead, I believe, at the end of 5. And then the Dodgers did score more towards the end of the game. I'm kind of surprised the Dodgers bullpen didn't give anything up. But Emmett Sheehan, really good start for the Dodgers. I think he got them 7 innings last night. So if I was going to guess which one of those starters would have done better in the game, I would have probably gone with Green, but it was Sheehan who did. But we had the under, so that didn't matter. They both pitched pretty well, as far as I could tell. Emily, what's up, man? Thank you. Or what's up, woman? Should I say? I just say man. Like, that's just my force of habit. Thanks for hanging out. I'm totally out of it right now. Andrew, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, it fucking sucks, man. Whenever you have a dog death, it's almost like a human death. I mean, yeah, this was a dog that was part of the family. This was not something we expected at all. It was just like really, really quick, like totally downhill, like health slide. She was 11. Huskies don't really live that long. Usually like 11, 12, 13 years, something in that ballpark. But yeah, this was not what I would have expected at all. I was over at my parents' house. And it was just all of a sudden, it's like, well, what's going on? We thought that it was like seizure medication that was messing with her and making her like lethargic. Like she had actually seen the vet like a week prior to that and nothing seemed wrong other than maybe we needed to like alter the meds a bit. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, she has like now cancer that's just like all over the place. Like, what the fuck? Like all of a sudden in the last like 4 days, what? It makes absolutely no sense. We'll talk about sports here, so we don't have to talk about that shit. But we got to talk about WNBA first because that's what I do, and I'm not going to recommend a play on any of this. This is the rundown, by the way. Oh, my God. Yeah, WNBA, I haven't had a play for a while, but, I mean, I'm doing it very sparingly. I am up on the season in the WNBA, so I'll definitely take that. The first time I've handicapped WNBA. We got... and then I will have 3 Major League Baseball plays, although I really don't like the baseball card very much today, or the board, I should say. I'm trying to fix my ring light there a little bit. Vegas and Atlanta. This is actually a pretty good game by WNBA standards. Atlanta is now in first place in the East. Vegas is probably the hottest team in all of the WNBA. Atlanta did just beat Minnesota, who is the best team in the WNBA, and then the Liberty, who were atop the East. So those are 2 huge wins. So it is possible Atlanta doesn't quite take this game quite as seriously, although these teams are all battling for playoff positioning now. Vegas, like I said, has been extremely hot. They were like 500 basically not that long ago, and they've won how many games in a row? I can't count. 11, 12. They've won a ton of games in a row now. They are playing a 3rd straight road game, though, but they're coming off an easy game over the Sky where it doesn't even look like they really showed up, and they barely won the game. So this actually seems like a better spot for Vegas to me, but Atlanta, in a way, does have a little bit... Wait, what am I looking at? This is tomorrow, Vegas and Atlanta. I'm so out of it today, man. Seattle and Indiana, my mistake. But anyway, yeah, I could handicap. I'll re-handicap that tomorrow. But yeah, Vegas, Atlanta. I think Vegas might be the better side there. Seattle, Indiana. I mean, yeah, this is a much more boring game because Indiana is falling apart. Caitlin Clark looks like she's not coming back. Sophie Cunningham is now out for the year after being injured intentionally in this Connecticut game. Indiana, I mean, they're still playing respectably. I mean, those 2 losses after that were both to Minnesota, best team in the league. They are returning home from Minnesota. Indiana, I mean, at this point, they got to win to even make the playoffs at this point. They got to make sure they make the playoffs. I don't even know if that's going to happen. Seattle is in somewhat decent position to make the playoffs at this point as they've been on a nice little run here with 3 wins in a row, winning 4 of the last 5, although they did that against bad teams for the most part. These last 3 wins, Chicago, Dallas, Washington, those are all bad teams. They're playing a 4th straight road game, so that's not necessarily the easiest spot to be in for Seattle here. Both teams still kind of fighting like for their playoff lives at this point. Seattle does have a big game against Minnesota up next in 2 days, though. So might they overlook Indiana because Indiana's massively injured? It's possible. The line has actually moved up from 2 to 4 on Seattle, though. Don't know if some of that has to do with the fact that Indiana's entire team is injured because we already knew that. So I don't know if that would cause the line to increase more on Seattle, but I'm not going to lay the points. I'm not going to recommend laying the points with Seattle there. And then Phoenix and LA. LA, I mean, they're still technically fighting to try to make the playoffs, but I think they're going to miss the playoffs at this point. Phoenix has been playing pretty well. Phoenix is obviously the better team here. LA, I mean, I guess they'll show up. They only won their last game but 1. They do have a pretty good Phoenix team coming into their place here. Phoenix just beat Golden State in their last game, winning 3 of their last 4, only losing to that extremely hot Vegas team in those 4 games there. Starting a new road trip going to LA. So Phoenix, I mean, it seems to me like they should be focused, but they're sitting pretty nicely right now. They're pretty much guaranteed that they're going to make the playoffs at this point at the very least, although I think they would like to improve their seeding. Phoenix is just sitting at a 4-point favorite, though, and I don't know. To me, it almost looks a little bit too easy to take Phoenix with a line that's not really that high like that. But there's no way that I can recommend a play on that. I just don't really have a feel for it. Scott, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. That's pretty gay, but love you too. All right, Major League Baseball. I'm gonna recommend 3 plays here. I have some leans in some of these other games. It's all an evening board today for Major League Baseball. I believe 4 teams didn't play yesterday, but all the teams are playing today. Red Sox, Baltimore. The Red Sox did get the win yesterday, even though I thought they were in a bad spot with short rest coming off that Sunday night game. They still won the game last night. And the Red Sox had a bullpen game last night and still won. So the Orioles have a more rested bullpen coming into this game, although the Red Sox have the better bullpen generally. But again, they had to use Bernardino as an opener, and he's pitched the last 2 days, so he can't pitch today. Whitlock threw a decent amount of pitches yesterday. So the Red Sox bullpen, a couple of their guys probably unavailable. Chapman only threw 7 pitches, so he probably is available. But the bullpen scenario doesn't really honestly look that great for the Red Sox here. It kind of evens out the fact that the Red Sox do have the better bullpen over Baltimore. The Red Sox also have the better offense. Starting pitching is interesting, to say the least here. Giolito is pitching for the Red Sox. Lucas Giolito, 3.72 ERA, 1.27 whip on the season. He's been a bit up and down. He has been a little bit better on the road, 3.65 ERA on the road. Hasn't been that good recently. 2 of his last 3 starts, he's failed to make it 5 innings. In those 2 starts, he allowed 7 earned runs combined across whatever the hell that is. Can I even do the math at this point? 10 1/3 innings, I think is what that was. Or no, 9 1/3, whatever the hell it was. Anyway, yeah, Giolito those weren't great outings for him, and his walk numbers haven't been that good this month. 14-11 strikeout walk ratio. So his strikeout rate is fairly low. His walk rate is fairly high here. Over the past month, that's not good, even though his ERA is actually only 3.42 because he had good starts against Houston and Miami in the mix there. So it's almost like he's been alternating good and bad starts over the past month, which would mean that he's in line for a good start here. He does have good numbers against Baltimore. They only have 20 at-bats against him. Only 5 of their hitters have seen him before. They're 3 for 20 with no extra base hits, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, 150 batting average, 367 OPS. So Giolito does have good numbers against them in a small sample size. My guess would be that Giolito does actually come back and pitch well in this particular game. I mean, his bad starts were both on the road, though, so he is on the road here as well. So he's actually been a little bit worse on the road more recently. Earlier this season, his bad starts were in Fenway, but his most recent start was against the Yankees. You can kind of give him a pass for that. Not sure you can give him a pass for walking 6 guys at San Diego, though. So I do worry a little bit about him. Kyle Bradish, I don't even know how you pronounce his name, is pitching for Baltimore. He is an interesting case here, man. He didn't pitch at all. He has not pitched at all since last season. He got injured early in the season. He was off to a really good season last year. Last 2 seasons, he was actually really good, with an ERA below 3 in both seasons and a whip below 1.1 in both seasons. Good stuff, good strikeout walk ratio in the 3s. So he's pretty good, but he had an elbow injury. He's had Tommy John surgery. He's trying to come back from Tommy John. He is still kind of a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of major league experience, even though he's a little bit older than you'd expect for a guy who only started pitching in the majors a few years ago. He is already 28, but he was showing signs of really becoming something good. And we got to figure out if we think he's going to bounce back from having these surgeries here, man. So I looked at his rehab starts. He made 4 starts in AAA this year, and they were actually not good. Like, his ERA was over 6, I'm pretty sure, which is not necessarily a very good sign. I mean, looking at what he did the last couple seasons is a good sign, though. You would think that a guy at his age, maybe he should bounce back from Tommy John surgery and pitch well again, but we've seen a lot of cases where guys that are late 20s, early 30s start like not being able to come back from this Tommy John surgery and pitch well. So it's definitely a risk if you want to bank on him pitching well today. I mean, if his AAA starts looked good, I would be leaning towards an under in this Red Sox Orioles game here. Like, that would actually probably be on my board on my card as a play today. But I just don't think I could do it because I'm very, very nervous about Bradish, man. Or Bradish. Against the Red Sox in his career, they're only 8 for 39 off him lifetime, though. 13 Ks, 3 walks, 205 batting average, 647 OPS. So his matchup numbers do look good against the Red Sox. And the money is coming in on the under in this one. The totals dropped from a key number of 9. It went actually from 9 juice to the over, through the key number of 9 down to 8.5. When I looked earlier, I did not see any 9s anymore on the board because obviously if you want to go under, the 9 is a lot better. You could think about going under in the first 5 innings, and then you can avoid the Red Sox bullpen not being the greatest rest scenario and Baltimore's bullpen not being good. Red Sox are also public, 84% of tickets, only 75% of the cash. Dropped from minus 128 on the money line to minus 107, so the market signals are saying Baltimore in this game as well, which is interesting, which means that it seems like the professional bettors have faith in Bradish, but Radish. We're going to throw him on a salad, man. But I'm just not so sure. Again, I would agree with the market read more so than I wouldn't, especially on the under. Like, I do think the under is still the best way to look at this game. 78% of tickets on the over, 69% of the cash on the under. And again, first 5 innings might make more sense. If you can get full game under 9, of course, that's a key number, so that makes sense too. But again, I think you really got to worry about whether Bradish is going to be able to return from his surgeries, because his AAA starts not looking good, man, over that span. You get a 4-start sample size, and it doesn't look that good. So, and he allowed, I believe, like a 290 batting average over that span too. So we'll see. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if he came out and pitched well, though, because we know what he can do at the major league level. So, but it's a pass for me on that one. Atlanta and Miami. Miami won the game yesterday 2-1. Very low scoring, close game yesterday. We're looking at 2 mediocre offenses and 2 mediocre bullpens here. I would say I don't even know which team actually has the edge in either at this point, because they're pretty close, to be honest. Yeah, Marlins and Braves are 18 and 19 in pitching in a bullpen ERA. And Marlins are 17th in offensive OPS. Braves are 16th, so they're back-to-back in both of those, which is why it's difficult to figure out which one you even think is better. It's basically a wash, both offensively and in the bullpen. Braves only used 1 relief pitcher yesterday, so they have a pretty good bullpen rest scenario right now. Miami, not too bad either. Used 2 guys yesterday. Interesting pitching matchup here. We have 2 guys that could potentially pitch well in this game. One who is really off to a hot start, Hurston Waldrop, pitching for Atlanta. He's a 23-year-old rookie, I believe, and he's been really, really excellent so far with a .73 ERA and .77 WHIP. Obviously, he can't continue doing that well, but he's been really, really good, both home and away. He's ramped up kind of in every outing as well, like almost pitched better every single outing. Now, we do have to dial it back a little bit because he's faced some bad offenses for the most part. Miami, Cleveland, White Sox. The best offense he faced was Cincinnati. But he's only given up 1 or 0 earned runs in every outing. Has a 24-6 strikeout walk ratio. Yeah, I mean, he's doing everything and more than what was expected. But he's been pitching against offenses that have never seen him before, so that gives him an upper hand. When you have a talented young rookie like this, the first time an offense sees him, sometimes they really struggle. The problem with this outing is that Miami is going to be facing him for the second time, and maybe he's good enough that he's just going to pitch well again. Definitely possible. He beat Miami pretty easily the last time. He's actually picked up a win in every one of his outings. Held Miami to 1 earned run in 6 innings in that start, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. So, yeah, his numbers against Miami are really good. 17 at-bats, only 1 extra base hit, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, no walks against their current lineup. So whoever the walk was must not even be currently on Miami's roster or whatever. 235 batting average, 529 OPS. Yeah, it's definitely possible that Waldrop does well again here, but I worry a little bit that second time facing a lineup, and you're almost facing them like right away again, that lineup will have like kind of been able to adjust to you a little bit potentially, might be able to hit you a little bit better. So I worry about that slightly. And then Sandy Alcantara pitching from Miami, he has not had a good season. He's a guy that had Tommy John surgery in his late 20s, and he's never bounced back from it. 6.04 ERA, 1.38 WHIP, not good, but he has been better at home, 4.76 ERA at home. And this month, he's been showing signs, man. His last 2 starts at Boston and against St. Louis. I know St. Louis's offense hasn't been good recently, but he pitched really well in both of those starts. The one at Boston, pretty impressive. He gave up 1 earned run in each of those starts, went 13 combined innings, only gave up 7 hits, combined 16-2 strikeout walk ratio of those last 2 starts after he was kind of roughed up in his first 2 starts of the month. So what are we going to get out of Alcantara here? It's interesting, man, because he is actually in good form right now based on those last 2 starts. But the start before that was actually against Atlanta, and he didn't do well. He gave up 5 earned runs and walked 4 guys in 5 innings, in addition to giving up 7 hits. His numbers against the Braves are not good in his career, and a huge 183 at-bat sample size, 41 strikeouts, 21 walks. So not really a good ratio there. 295 batting average, 871 OPS. So the Braves have been able to hit Alcantara pretty well. So I think if you're looking at this game, I think you do have to lean to the Braves, but you're laying a road favorite price with a team like the Braves. Although it almost looks bizarre to be doing that, right? Because I know the Braves get all this name recognition, but you got a team with the worst record here, and they are really bad on the road too, so you do have to worry about that. But the team with the worst record laying a road favorite price just kind of seems bizarre, right? But I do think that Atlanta does have the edge here, and if you think everything else is a wash, the bullpens are a wash, I think Atlanta does make sense in this game. They're up from -112 to -126. 74% of tickets, 87% of the cash coming in on them. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with an under, though, because Alcantara has been in good form the last couple of games, but I do worry that he doesn't do well against Atlanta, and they just saw him. And I worry that Miami just saw Waldrop as well, so he might not do as well. Waldrop, by the way, is when you have paint. When you overcoat your you put too many coats of paint on your wall there, and it starts dripping. That's the Waldrop. You're watching paint dry when you watch that guy pitch. No, I like good pitching. The total did flip from 8 juice to the over to 8 juice to the under. 63% of tickets on the over, 70% of the cash on the over. But I do see more arguments for an under than an over, though, because I think it is possible both pitchers actually continue their recent ways. But again, I think probably the best way to look at this game is still the Atlanta money line, because I do think Waldrop probably should be able to outpitch Alcantara here. He's just the pitcher who's been better, man. I mean, even though it's a very small sample size for Waldrop. Tampa Bay at Cleveland. Cleveland returned home from a road trip yesterday and lost again, and they haven't scored a run in 3 straight games now. Cleveland playing awful right now. Their offense is awful. Tampa Bay obviously has the better of these two offenses. Cleveland actually probably has the better bullpen, though. It's just crazy to say, although Tampa's isn't that bad. Sometimes when a team returns home from a road trip and they get really embarrassed, they actually tend to bounce back and do better in the next outing, which might happen. But, man, Cleveland is sliding. Neither of these teams are going anywhere, which I forgot to mention. That is the case with Atlanta and Miami as well. And, of course, Boston is fighting to make the playoffs and for positioning. And, of course, Baltimore is out of it, but Baltimore will be playing for a divisional matchup. They'll show up as well. Probably, Atlanta, Miami will show up for a divisional matchup as well. Tampa Bay, Cleveland, I mean, these two teams don't really have a whole lot to play for here. As far as the bullpen usage is concerned, Tampa Bay used 3 relief pitchers yesterday. Not a ton of usage. Cleveland has used more of their relievers the last couple of days, but they only used 2 yesterday. Although both of those guys actually pitched 2 days in a row. So bullpen usage-wise, maybe Tampa gets a slight edge there, even though I think Cleveland actually shockingly has the better of the 2 bullpens. Cleveland is actually up here in 5th in bullpen ERA on the season, which seems just absurd to me, given the fact that they lost a couple of their best relievers to gambling. I don't know. Starting pitching matchup in this game is a little bit hard to predict as well. Shane Baz is pitching for Tampa. He hasn't been good this season. 5.22 ERA, 1.37 whip, although he's been way better on the road. 3.52 ERA, so taking him out of that Steinbrenner field that Tampa has to play in this year, that spring training stadium, he's been a lot better. Baz, I mean, he hasn't been good this month, though. He's been bad this month. 27-8 strikeout walk ratio is pretty solid, but a 9 ERA. That's not going to cut it, obviously. 2 of his last 3 outings, he failed to make it past the 4-inning mark. He's given up 4 or more in runs every game this month. That's not a good sign at all. Yes, he did face the Dodgers and the Yankees and the A's on the road, which is actually his best start of the month, which is insane. That's a very hitter-friendly park as well. But, yeah, he's getting lit up this month. It's not good. But Cleveland has actually never faced him before, so if Baz is going to be able to bounce back, maybe he will actually pitch better in this game because Cleveland at least hasn't seen him before. So he does have an unfamiliarity edge. And I do think Baz, he's a good strikeout pitcher, so he does have a ceiling that's much higher than what he's been doing so far. But I don't know that he's necessarily going to do well here, although he's getting a really, really bad Cleveland offense as an opponent here, too. So he's stepping way down in class to face them, so he may pitch better here. He's up against Parker Messick for Cleveland, who I believe has only made 1 start in his major league career. Yeah, he pitched at Arizona. I mean, that's not an easy task. And he went 6 2/3 innings, gave up 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, 7 hits. Very impressive for a guy to come out and that being his debut game in a very hitter-friendly park against a good offense. So good sign that Messick might actually be a decent starter here. I looked at his scouting report back before he made his first start, but don't have it fresh in my mind right now. Don't exactly remember exactly what his arsenal looks like, but I'm just kind of looking at what his stats are now and saying, oh, he can do this at a major league level. Well, that should mean that he can pitch well again here against an offense that's actually weaker than the first offense that he faced, Tampa. They have not seen Messick before, so we have an unfamiliarity edge on both sides here. Yeah, this is a weird one, man. Money coming in on Cleveland, 55% of tickets, 77% of the cash on them. They are in the bounce back spot. If I was going to do that, yeah, I mean, you could maybe even do that and still go full game, just going with the fact their bullpen is actually better, but you're going to need them to actually get some offense for once. But I don't really disagree with that side. You could also go first 5 if you just think Messick will outpitch Boz. But I think maybe full game Cleveland would make more sense on the side there. They're sitting at minus 113 on the money line. Total did drop to 7.5, juice to the over. 68% of tickets, 74% of the cash on the over. I could definitely see an argument for an under in this game, just based on the fact that both starting pitchers are unfamiliar to the opposing lineups, and we know neither offense is really that prolific. The bullpens are both all right, so an under kind of seems to make sense in this game as well, but you got to worry about Boz returning to form to get you your under in that one, but it is certainly possible. I think I would prefer that over playing the over in that one, at least for sure. I think the lean would be the under. Washington at the Yankees. Yankees got the win yesterday, the first game of the series, on the short turnaround time off the Sunday night game. Washington's bullpen is so bad that the Yankees actually have the better of the two bullpens. Yankees only used 1 relief pitcher yesterday, Mac Leiter, for only 7 pitches. So their bullpen's actually more rested as well. Washington using a few guys yesterday. So the Yankees have a bullpen edge, which doesn't usually happen. They have a huge offensive edge as well. Obviously, they're the highest OPS in all of baseball still, I believe. And they should probably have a starting pitching edge, too. So pretty much every edge is on the side of the Yankees here. But obviously, you have to pay a price for them, although it's not as heavy a price as you had to pay yesterday for them. Mackenzie Gore pitching for Washington. And, of course, the Yankees have something to play for as they're trying to make sure they make the playoffs, potentially trying to win the division, whereas Washington doesn't really have a whole lot left to play for. But, of course, playing the Yankees, you're probably going to get up when you play the Yankees, especially at Yankee Stadium. Gore is pitching for the Nats. 4.11 ERA, pretty atrocious. 1.35 whip, though, this year. His walk numbers have been bad, but he is actually pretty good on the road. 3.59 ERA on the road. This month, pretty decent, 22-8 strikeout walk ratio, but pretty bad, 6.05 ERA. Mostly because he got totally lit up by the A's, but his last start wasn't good either. Didn't make it past 4 1/3 against the Mets. Gave up 2 home runs, 4 walks, 6 hits as well, and somehow limited them to 3 earned runs, even though he put all those guys on base. Had 5 strikeouts as well. Gore is definitely a strikeout guy. He will gore you, but he walks way too many guys. He's actually been too hittable as well recently, so I'm not expecting a whole lot out of Gore here, but I mean, it's possible that at some point he does better because he does have a higher ceiling, but his numbers against the Yankees are bad. In 53 at-bats, 302 batting average allowed, 928 OPS, 14-5 strikeout walk ratio. His numbers are just not great against the Yankees, so I'm not expecting a whole lot out of him. Luis Gil pitching for the Yankees, actually kind of similar to Gore in a way that in that Gil gets a lot of strikeouts and walks way too many guys, which you can kind of tell based on his season numbers so far. He's had a limited season so far because he came back from injury not that long ago. 4.26 ERA, 1.68 whip. His whip is way too high, but he's actually been way better at home, 2.61 ERA at home. He got really, really rocked in his first start. He's been a little bit better since then, allowing 2 or fewer earned runs in the most recent 3 starts, but he hasn't made it past 5 1/3 in any of his outings so far. He's walked 13 guys so far in 19 innings. So again, his walk number, very, very high. 17 strikeouts is actually lower than you expect to see from Gil. So his strikeout walk ratio is actually really bad. So some of his numbers are not a good sign. Washington has almost never seen him before. The only DeJong has ever seen him before, and he's 0 for 2 with a walk and 2 strikeouts. So Heel does have an unfamiliarity edge here. So I still think the edge pretty much goes to the Yankees across the board here. Where are they at? They're up from minus 165 to minus 174. But they got 92% of the tickets and cash on them. So I would worry a little bit about that. I mean, I could see some arguments for an over as well because the bullpens just aren't very good here. Both starting pitchers, you could make the argument that they won't do well here because Heel's not in good form, really. Gore doesn't have good numbers against the Yankees and also isn't in good form. 85% of tickets, only 84% of the cash on the over, although the total actually went up from 8.5 juice to the over all the way through 9, key number to 9 juice to the over. So, my mistake. I've moved my mic around a whole bunch, man, because I don't like having it off to the side as much, but having it this low, I keep, hitting it, so I don't love this either, but I want to keep it not too close to my face because I don't want to kill anybody with my voice. My voice is already bad enough, and it seems like I strain it. Anyway, over. There are some arguments for an over in this game. Which might actually be the better way to lean in this game because I don't think there's really a way to play the Yankees side. You could play the Yankees over their team total. I don't really hate that either because they hit Gore well and you got a bad Washington bullpen in the mix too. I recommended that yesterday actually, and that was an easy winner if you did that. The Yankees scored 10 runs yesterday, so doesn't seem too bad to me. Minnesota, Toronto, I'm going to give out a play, so I'll skip that for now. What else do I have? Yeah, I'm just making sure. A couple of my plays are late night games. I have a couple of Pacific Coast plays. So we're going to get through most of the board prior to that. Philadelphia and the Mets, big series, obviously. Big divisional series between the top two teams in the NL East. They're both fighting for playoff positioning and whatever. The Mets won yesterday 13-3. Very embarrassing result for Philly. So do I think Philly will bounce back here? Potentially, because, no team wants to get embarrassed like that, and Philly has been good at bouncing back for the most part after getting embarrassed, and really just after a loss, Philly tends to do fairly well. The bullpens, Philly has the worst of the two bullpens, though. Just not a great bullpen, but they didn't have a ton of usage there in the bullpen yesterday. Mets had a little bit more. So Mets still get the bullpen edge, but it's a little bit less significant. But they got an all right bullpen. Philly has the better of these two offenses. And then as far as the starting pitching, I actually lean to Philadelphia with the starting pitching, man. So maybe a first 5 makes sense with Philadelphia. Jesus Luzardo is pitching for the Phillies. He's basically been a tale of 3 seasons at this point where he was really good at the early part of the season, really bad in the middle of the season, and now he's really good again. Where it seemed like when he was bad, people were saying he was tipping his pitches. So maybe he figured out how to disguise his pitches better again. I don't really know, but his numbers kind of reflect all that as they're fairly mediocre. 4.1 ERA, 1.3 whip is definitely higher than I would like to see, but he is better on the road, 3.3 ERA on the road. He's been in good form this month with a 3 ERA and a ridiculous 30-4 strikeout walk ratio, and he finished July with a shutout of the White Sox for 7 innings as well. He's gone 6 innings in every outing this month. His team has won 4 of his last 5 starts. He hasn't allowed more than 300 runs in any outing this month. He's coming off striking out 12 and walking nobody in a 6-inning, 1-run, 3-hit performance against Seattle. Not even at Seattle's ballpark either. So good signs that Luzardo is definitely in good form right now. And his numbers against the Mets are pretty good, and 139 at bats. So even though they've seen him a lot, they haven't done well against him. 37 strikeouts, 12 walks. That's a decent strikeout walk ratio. It's over 3. 252 batting average allowed and 678 OPS. So good numbers pretty much across the board from Luzardo here. He's in good form right now. So I like how it shapes up for him. He's up against Sean Manaea for the Mets, who does not have a good ERA, 5.15, although his whip is actually pretty good, 1.12, which all that kind of surprises me because with Manaea, usually you get the opposite. Usually you get a good ERA and a bad whip. He usually walks too many guys. His ERA, it's a little bit better at home, 5.03, but he hasn't been in good form for a while now. He came back from injury, started the season in July, and he actually had a few pretty good starts in a row. He gave up 1 earned run each in his first 4 starts, even though his team only won 1 of those starts. This month, his team has lost all 4 of his starts, and he's given up 4 more earned runs every single time out. and he's gone fewer than 5 innings in 2 of the 4. He still has a 23-4 strikeout walk ratio. So his command numbers are good, but he's been getting lit up, man. He's allowed 4 home runs this month. He's allowed 17 earned runs, 22 hits in 19 and third innings. So something seems wrong with him, even though it's not the walk. So he is giving up just a lot of runs and a lot of hard contact, I guess. I don't know what's going on with him. Usually the opposite is the case with him, like I said, but he's got a really bad-looking 7.91 ERA this month. Didn't do well against Washington or Cleveland either, and those are not really good offenses. Milwaukee, Seattle, you can give him a little bit more of a pass for those games, but he's not in good form right now, and Philadelphia does hit him fairly well in 110 at-bats. 27.9 strikeout walk ratio is all right for him, but 282 batting average allowed, 942 OPS, not good. And he's allowed, that OPS is really high. He's allowed 10 home runs to the Phillies bats, 3 of them from Castellanos, but a lot of guys have homered off him. The majority of their active roster has at least 1 home run off him. So I think the way to look at this game is probably the Phillies' first 5 innings. The money's fading that, though. The money is coming in against Philly. They're a slight road favorite-ish, up from -106 to -107. 71% of tickets on them, only 65% of the cash. So Philly is a public road almost favorite here. It's the line probably the line's almost like it's almost even between the two teams, basically with a little bit of juice on each side. But Philly is a very public road team here. But I still think, based on what I just showed you, it seems like Luzardo should have the upper hand in the starting pitching matchup. Don't love the Phillies bullpen. So again, I think first 5 innings, Philadelphia money line is actually the way to look at this game. Money seems to be coming into the over a little bit. 62% of tickets, 68% of the cash on the over. Totals up to 8.5 from 8. I could see the argument for that being that maybe some runs will be scored later in the game off of these bullpens, but I'm not sure that I quite love that. I think Philly first 5 innings for me would be the way that I would look at that game. Arizona and the Brewers. Man, this game, it's an interesting starting pitching matchup. The Brewers got the win yesterday to break a loss streak, so maybe some newfound momentum for the Brewers here. The Brewers have the better of the 2 bullpens here. Arizona actually has the better offense, and the Brewers' offense is a little bit worse at home. But Brewers do have a significant bullpen edge here. Although the Brewers did use 3 relief pitchers yesterday, and Arizona only used Jarvis out of the bullpen, so they have a very rested bullpen here, which kind of negates Milwaukee's bullpen edge a little bit. I wouldn't say entirely, but a little bit. Starting pitching matchup, again, pretty interesting. Brandon Pfaadt pitching for Arizona. There are a lot of conflicting handicapping factors with him here. He's finally got his ERA below 5 this year. He's been a much better pitcher than this in other seasons prior to this, but this season has not been good for him. 4.95 ERA, 1.34 whip. He's been way worse on the road, 6.5 ERA, so for whatever reason, he pitches way better at Chase Field or whatever, even though it's a hitter-friendly ballpark. He has been better this month, though, with a 4.18 ERA. I mean, it's not great, but it's better. 15-6 strikeout walk ratio, still not that good. It's a low strikeout rate for him, but he's gotten his walk numbers down. He's been a little bit better this month. His team has won 3 of his 4 starts. He's given up 4 fewer earned runs in every outing. Did face Colorado twice, though, and Cleveland once, so he faced bad offenses. Although, yes, he did pitch at Coors Field once, which is still not really an easy place to pitch. But he's at least doing better than he was. His numbers against Milwaukee are actually surprisingly good, although it's not a huge sample size of 31, but he's only allowed 1 extra base hit, a double to Vaughn, 16-3 strikeout walk ratio, so he has a really high strikeout rate against them, 226 batting average, 552 OPS allowed, so Pfaadt specifically actually does well against Milwaukee. He's going up against the young phenom, Jacob Misiorowski. His ERA has gone up a bit, though, 4.19. His whip is still good at 1.11 because he's still pretty much unhittable, but he's been kind of all over the place, man. He's been a little bit shaky. He has been better at home, 1.35 ERA at home, so he's better at home, but he's been kind of all over the place. Like I said, his start to his career was really good, and he had 4 starts in a row where he allowed very few hits. He allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in all 4, went 5 or more innings in all of them. Then he pitched in the All-Star game, which I said they shouldn't do that. Like, even if he was nominated to the All-Star game or named to the All-Star team, which I think he shouldn't have been, Milwaukee should have been like, you're not going to pitch in the All-Star game. Like he should have actually declined the invitation, man, because you don't want your rookie pitcher to do that. And since then, he's actually been totally messed up. I know he got injured as well, but he hasn't gone 5 innings since then. He's allowed multiple runs in every outing except the first one against Seattle. And this month, he's been really bad. In 5 1/3 innings across 2 starts. Yes, both on the road against Cincinnati, where that's a tough place to pitch, and the Cubs. Good offense, but he's allowed 8 earned runs. 8 strikeouts is good, but 6 walks, so his walk number has gone up. Not good over these last 2 starts, man. Will he bounce back? Yeah, I mean, at some point he will. He's a really good pitcher, so he will be back in form at some point. I mean, he's the hardest thrower in all of Major League Baseball, and he does not have any history against the Diamondbacks yet, so the D-backs are going to be unfamiliar with him, so they're going to have to adjust and try to figure him out. But the form that he's in right now, I don't love it, man. I mean, it's going to sound really, really ugly, but I actually probably would lean to Arizona, maybe on the run line in the first 5 innings here. Just play Arizona plus whatever the run line is, plus a half run or something to be tied at the end of 5 innings here. 90% of tickets, 93% of the cash on Milwaukee. They're sitting at minus 150. Again, I think that maybe you lean to Arizona in that one just because Miz is just not in good form right now, man. But yes, it's not something I would actually do because he does have the potential to just blow Arizona away, and they haven't seen him before. It's an interesting one, man. Kansas City at Chicago at the White Sox. Man, this is ugly. The White Sox have actually won 3 games in a row, 2 shutouts in a row, including shutting out Kansas City yesterday, 7-0. White Sox still have the worst of these 2 bullpens, though. White Sox actually have the worst offense as well. The White Sox have a rested bullpen, though. They only used 1 guy yesterday. Kansas City only used 2 relief pitchers yesterday, though. One of them was Lynch, long relief man. So Kansas City's bullpen is in decent shape, too. So they do have a bullpen edge here. Kansas City does have a hitting edge. Starting pitching, we're not getting the greatest starting pitchers in this one. Michael Lorenzen pitching for Kansas City. He came back from being injured not too long ago. He's got really mediocre numbers, 4.5 ERA, 1.34 whip, not very good. He is worse on the road, which makes sense because Kansas City's ballpark is pitcher-friendly. 5.06 ERA on the road, so he has not been good on the road. He's made 2 starts since returning from being injured for over a month. And Kansas City actually won both starts, but he didn't even go 5 innings in either of them. Last outing was a little bit shaky. He gave up 9 hits to a pretty weak-hitting Texas lineup. Still held them to 3 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. But I don't know if I'm ready to say he's actually in really good form right now. He's given up way too many hits, more than 1 per inning against the White Sox and Texas. And he's facing the White Sox again here, and the White Sox did just see him. But he did shut them out for 4 innings, but still they're recently familiar with him, so they might do a little bit better against him this time out. So even though he has a 3.24 ERA this month, 9.3 strikeout walk ratio doesn't look that bad. He's been too hittable again, man. He hasn't gone deep into these starts. He's been inefficient with his pitches, so I don't like that. He's been good in his career against the White Sox, though, so maybe they still won't hit him well. They're only 7 for 54 off him. 15-7 strikeout walk ratio is a little bit dicey, though. It's too many walks, but he's still held him to a 130 average and 433 OPS. So Lorenzen may very well do well in this game. He's going up against Martin Perez for the White Sox, who did pitch well in his first outing. He's got a 2.51 ERA and 1.15 whip. I think that's all from 1 outing this season, though. Oh, no, my mistake. He pitched early in the season, my mistake. And he's actually pitched twice since being on the actually, he's been on the White Sox all season, I guess, but he's pitched twice since they brought him back, I guess. So he was the guy, I don't know if he was in the minors or what, but he's an old, well, not even really that old, but he's a veteran pitcher who just, he seems like he's older than he is to me, man, because he's a guy that just comes out, doesn't blow guys away, is a command pitcher, doesn't really do that well. Since he's come back from injury or whatever, he's gone more than 5 innings once. He's allowed 1 earned run combined against Detroit and Atlanta across 8 2/3 innings, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks. So he has been effective. But is he going to stay effective? I'm not so sure. He does have a 1.93 ERA at home so far. But again, he's a guy usually doesn't do that well. He usually has like a whip that's definitely too high, above 1.4 in his career. His ERA is usually in like the mid-4s. So expecting regression out of Perez. Not sure it'll come here against the Royals. In 66 career at bats, he has a 14-1 strikeout walk ratio against them, 258 batting average allowed, and 674 OPS. So Perez has done pretty well against the Royals. So this game kind of looks like an under to me. I mean, you have two weak offenses, two pitchers that normally I would not love at all, but in this matchup, it looks okay to maybe take a shot with that. 64% of tickets on the over, 57% of the cash on the under. The bullpens are at least rested, so even though the White Sox bullpen isn't that good, Kansas City's is good enough that maybe it'll get you there. Money coming in on the under, like I said, still we're looking at an 8.5 total there. First 5 innings under would make enough sense as well. So either one of those makes sense. Kansas City's a public road favorite. I don't know where Zach, our resident KC fan, is. Not to be found right now in the chat, but 69% of tickets, only 54% of the cash. KC down from minus 115 to minus 109 on the money line. So Kansas City, they're looking like a public road favorite here. It looks like they're being faded by the money here. So keep all that in mind. Pittsburgh and St. Louis. St. Louis won 7-6 yesterday, despite being in a return home spot yesterday. They were able to win. St. Louis does have the better batting and the better bullpen here over Pittsburgh, which isn't really saying a whole lot. St. Louis's offense has been not that good recently, though. Bullpen usage, not a whole lot for St. Louis recently, more for Pittsburgh recently. So Pittsburgh definitely at a bullpen disadvantage here. Starting pitching, Mitch Keller pitching for Pittsburgh. Mediocre numbers. His numbers were better earlier in the season. He's been pretty bad recently. Maybe he's kind of wearing down a little bit, even though he is a veteran at this point. But 4.34 ERA, 1.31 WHIP. Not very good. Little bit worse on the road, 4.45 ERA on the road. This month, like I said, he's been really bad, though, in 4 starts, a 9 ERA. Hasn't made it 5 innings in either of his last 2 outings. 16-9 strikeout walk ratio over that span. He's allowed 5 or more in runs in 3 of the 4 outings. Not good. Did face some good lineups, though. Toronto, Milwaukee, Cincinnati is okay. Did okay against them. Pitched in Coors Field. So it hasn't been like the easiest slate of opponents, but he's just not pitching well right now. And his numbers aren't good versus the Cardinals either. They've seen a lot of them because they're in the division. 152 at bats, 40-13 strikeout walk ratio is not bad for him, but 283 batting average allowed and 824 OPS allowed. So Keller does not do well against St. Louis. He's up against Andre Palante, who doesn't have good numbers this year for St. Louis. 5.17 ERA, 1.41 WHIP. He's actually a little bit worse at home, 5.37 ERA at home. He's been really bad this month as well. Very similar numbers to Keller, actually. He's taken a loss in all 4 outings this month. One was against the Cubs, one was against the Yankees. So, I mean, those are good offenses, but he has not done well. He hasn't gone more than 5 1/3 innings in any of these outings. He's given up 4 or more runs in the last 3. 16-10 strikeout walk ratio this month. 3 walks in 3 of the 4 outings. He's not pitching well right now, man. Against Pittsburgh, he actually has pretty good numbers, though. Well, actually, I mean, it's not surprising. It's just surprising because I don't think Palante is good. Pittsburgh's offense isn't good, though. But in 72 at-bats, he has a 16-9 strikeout walk ratio, which is not very good. But McCutchen has 5 of those walks. He's held him to a 181 batting average at 605 OPS. So he has held Pittsburgh's offense down, but he's in such bad form right now. I think this game is probably an over. I don't know. I mean, the starting pitching might be bad enough that it'll kind of cascade into the bullpens here. That would probably be the way that I would look at this game. Not a whole lot of over leans from me recently, or just overs in general, but 66% of tickets, 76% of the cash on the over. Total sitting at 8, and it's actually the juice on the over has actually dropped to just a straight 8, but I think the over is the way to look in this game, and I think you have 2 starting pitchers that are just in terrible form right now. Probably you do have to worry about Pittsburgh getting you enough offense to help out, though. St. Louis up from minus 120 to minus 126, 62% of tickets, 67% of the cash on them. So the money seems to be coming in on St. Louis. That also makes sense. I mean, Palante, even though his numbers are worse than Keller's on the season, he has the better matchup numbers. St. Louis is really the better team across the board, that means. So that does make sense as well. Slight lean to St. Louis there. Anaheim, Texas will be one of my plays. Andrew, I will have a play in your Anaheim Angels game here. Colorado at Houston. we finally get some teams that didn't play yesterday. Houston's returning home from a road trip. So again, I always talk about when you return home from a road trip, it's not really the greatest spot necessarily because you can tend to be a little bit distracted, especially you might not take a historically bad Colorado team very seriously here either. Houston did lose a win streak to end their road trip as well, and I gave out plays in 3 of the 4 games in that Baltimore series and got all 3 right on the show, so there you go. I've been a little bit hot in baseball recently, even though yesterday wasn't particularly great for me. But this is not a great spot for Houston because they are returning home from that road trip. They're still fighting to hold on to the division, though. They're fighting for playoff positioning, so they have motivation in that respect, which, by the way, obviously Kansas City and the White Sox do not. Well, Kansas City, I guess, technically is still in the race, so you could argue they have more motivation for that reason, but... and then Milwaukee obviously is making sure they make the playoffs. Arizona's out of it, but playing a really good team will probably pump you up. For Arizona there, Pittsburgh and St. Louis are both out of it, so just throwing out the motivational component of this really quick here. But Houston, again, even though they do have something to play for, they just might not take Colorado totally seriously here. Colorado's already on the road, and they've already lost every game on the road trip, embarrassingly getting swept by Pittsburgh, and they're flying down to Houston with 1 day off, getting shut out in 2 of those 3 and scoring 1 run in that entire series. We know Colorado's offense is terrible on the road, and it's probably not going to get much easier here given the pitcher they have to face here for Houston. So there is a reason why Houston is a massive favorite like this. I mean, obviously Houston is better across the board. They have the better bullpen. They have the better offense, even though their offense has struggled quite a bit of the time recently. But the situation is not that good for Houston. Would Colorado actually be able to get it done as far as like making this game close and covering like some sort of run line? Maybe. They got Tanner Gordon pitching. His numbers aren't great. 7.11 ERA, 1.67 whip. I mean, to say the least, that's not great. Usually you see Colorado's pitchers not do well in Coors Field, but he's been way worse on the road. 13.14 ERA on the road. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. He's had a shortened season. He pitched in May, and then he got hurt. So he had a delayed start to the season. It seems like he got hurt again, or maybe got sent to the minors, came back up, and hasn't been particularly good really throughout any of it. This month, he does have a pretty good-looking 12-2 strikeout walk ratio, although the strikeout rate's not that high. Hasn't walked a lot of guys, but he's got a 10.31 ERA this month, which, of course, is not good. Although his last 2 outings were actually fairly good, even though he didn't strike out a lot of guys. 5-2 strikeout walk ratio, but he only gave up 4 runs across 11 innings. 9 hits allowed against Arizona and the Dodgers, both at Coors Field. So for some reason, and he got wins in both starts. So he actually is in better form right now, which is interesting because he's now facing a worse offense than the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks here. But he's having to go out on the road where he hasn't been good at all. So a lot of things to keep in mind here with Gordon, man. So it's very difficult to predict what he's going to do here. There are reasons why he might do well. There are reasons why he might not do well, and Houston has never faced him before, so maybe he does have a little bit of an extra advantage here in that Houston is totally unfamiliar with them and might have to adjust to what he's going to come out and throw at them. Hunter Brown pitching for Houston, I mean, he's pretty much their ace. He's having a great season, 2.36 ERA, 1.01 whip. He's been even better at home slightly, 2.27 ERA at home. After a little bit of a rough patch there in July around the All-Star game because he got named to the All-Star team. I think that was a bit of a distraction. He's bounced back really nicely, and he's allowed no more than 2 earned runs in any of his last 5 starts. Allowed 1 or fewer in all but one of them, which was at the Yankees. So obviously, that's still not a bad start from him. This month, he's actually faced pretty much a gauntlet of Boston, Yankees, Boston, and Detroit. So he's faced some pretty difficult offenses. His walk number has gone up a little bit his last couple outings, 3 each in his last couple outings, which is concerning, but still has a 21.8 strikeout walk ratio this month, which is all right. His strikeout rate is a little bit lower than you'd want out of him. 1.44 ERA this month is obviously good, and he's coming off a 6-inning shutout at Detroit despite all those walks. So, yeah, I'm going to say he's still in good form here, and he's stepping way down in class to face this bad Rocky lineup. 39 at-bats against them. They have 8 hits against them, 11 strikeouts, 3 walks, 205 batting average allowed, and 672 OPS. So Brown has done well against the Rockies. It's an interesting one, man, where I mean, weirdly, I think that I'm kind of thinking that maybe an under actually kind of makes sense in this game, but maybe you do it in the first 5 innings, but you do have rested bullpens here because neither team played yesterday. Colorado's bullpen's still pretty untrustworthy, though, so maybe you limit it to first 5, but I see some reasons why Gordon might actually not pitch particularly terribly here. 82% of tickets on the over, 92% of the cash on the over. Cash looks like it's on the over, but the total's still kind of just sitting at 8, juice to the under. It's a pretty low total, and you know that that does make it look like it is a public over in this game. So I think maybe an under in the first 5 innings actually might make sense. I don't think there's any way you can lay up to minus 328 with Houston. They have 89% of tickets, 93% of the cash on them. I mean, if you wanted to go with Colorado under their team total and go with them to just not do well as their offense stinks on the road, they're facing a really good starting pitcher here, and Houston's bullpen going to be rested, and they're not a bad bullpen, so maybe you could look at it that way as well. The Boston Toads, the WNBA. It's going to be the Connecticut Sun. The team that intentionally injured Sophie Cunningham is going to be probably moving to Boston, which gets even more interesting because the Connecticut Sun, they're like New England's WNBA team, and they played in Boston against Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever a couple months ago. I was going into Boston that night to see Weird Al, and even though Caitlin Clark wasn't even playing, I saw Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark jerseys everywhere. On the subway, it was mostly women, lesbians mostly, going to that. But it was all Indiana Fever stuff, man. So if Connecticut moves to Boston and they're the team that intentionally injured Indiana, like are they even going to get much fan support in Boston, especially when they're the worst team in the WNBA right now? I doubt it. And they'd have to change their name because the reason they're the Connecticut Sun is because they play at Mohegan Sun. They actually play at the Native American Casino there. Mohegan Sun's like a huge event center, though. They have comedy events there, but they have a basketball arena there, which is going to be hilarious if the Sun move out of there because I don't think any other team really plays there. But yeah, it would be ridiculous if they wind up playing at the TD Garden instead. They'd have to change their name because the Boston Sun won't make any sense. Mohegan Sun's not there. Maybe they'll be the Boston Encore, and they'll be sponsored by the Encore Casino instead. That's on the harbor there, the Harbor Kid. I don't even know what their name would be. But a lot of times the WNBA tries to give a team, like if it's a team that's in a city that has an NBA team, they try to give them a similar like color scheme and logo to the NBA team. So they'll be the Boston female leprechauns or something. I don't fucking know. The Boston Gingers, the Boston Irish women, the Boston Lasses. I have no idea, man. But like, I don't even know they'll get any fan support, though. It was just hilarious seeing everybody going to that game was rooting for Indiana, man. The Caitlin Clark hype is real. And she might not even ever come back. Like I said, I don't think she's coming back this season. San Diego at Seattle. I gave you guys a winner on this last night with Seattle. They were able to hang on for the win 9-6 yesterday. They had a bigger lead than that late in the game as well. You got Cal Raleigh there at the Trident. The Mariners are crazy, man. They got the Tridents. They're like the gods of the sea, basically. They're Neptune or whatever. Yeah, the Boston gay Chinese mayors. She's going to be out of there, man. She has absolutely zero support. I don't even think she got legitimately elected because throughout my entire life, dude, every Boston mayor has been a man and has been like from the Boston area until now. Every other one was a guy from Boston. And like when I was growing up, it was like, yeah, these were Democrats. They were bad dudes, but it was like Tom Menino was probably the best of the Boston mayors during my lifespan, and it was just because he was hilarious and he was legitimately retarded. Like go watch videos of Tom Menino, dude. You'll love it. You'll laugh. It's awesome. He was absolutely from Boston. Obvious Bostonian, sounded even more retarded than most Bostonians do. And he would just say ridiculous shit. And he would talk about like the local sports teams and not get any of their names right. Like most famously when he called Rajon Rondo Hondo. that was a good one. Yeah, Mumbles Menino, that is correct. Yeah. But like he was so like idiotic that he just like didn't really even get anything done, which is basically what you want out of a mayor. And of course, back then we didn't have this huge homeless and immigration problem back in like the 90s and early 2000s and whatever. So it was more just like whatever. I mean, we did have a little bit of the 90s, there was kind of like that cocaine thing that was going on, but that was more of the 80s. And it was more New York City than Boston. Boston's a lot smaller. Mariners did win yesterday. Like I said, they've won 2 games in a row. Mariners are much better at home, man. They have a really good home record. San Diego is very bad on the road. They're like 5 games below 500 on the road, which was part of the handicap yesterday. Seattle, I mean, both of these teams have something to play for. They're both in the mix to win their divisions, the respective West divisions that they're in. So both teams have motivation here. They're both playing for something. Bullpen usage-wise, Seattle used 4 relief pitchers yesterday, so I think they do have a bullpen disadvantage here. San Diego used 3. San Diego has the most stacked bullpen in all of baseball, though. Even though they didn't do well in last night's game, Seattle does have the better bullpen here. Seattle has the better offense, though. So you got to find a way to try to handicap all that. Starting pitching, interesting, man, because you have 2 starting pitchers that on the surface should be good, but they're like not. Dylan Cease has not been good for San Diego this year. 4.71 ERA, 1.32 whip. Last year, he was much, much better, man. He's just very inefficient with his pitches sometimes. He gets a lot of strikeouts, but he walks too many guys. And he's been particularly bad on the road, 5.65 road ERA, so he's not good on the road. However, he may do better here because this is a very pitcher-friendly park in Seattle that's the most similar park to San Diego's stadium. I would say they're both deep outfields, so they're both very pitcher-friendly ballparks. So he might actually do okay in this ballpark specifically. Over the last month, he hasn't really been that good. Again, way too many walks, a high strikeout rate, though, 25-11 strikeout walk ratio in 19 and third innings, 4.19 ERA. Not that bad. He's at least allowed 4 or fewer earned runs in all these outings, but he's still not going deep into these outings. Did face the Red Sox and the Dodgers this past month, so those are not easy offenses to face. But overall, he's been very mediocre here, man. Against Seattle, his numbers are not terrific. In 71 at-bats, 19-9 strikeout walk ratio, 268 average, not really that high, but an 843 OPS. He's allowed 4 home runs and 15 RBIs to them. So some of Seattle's hitters have really hit for power against him, so it doesn't look that great for Cease, to be honest here. But he's going up against Luis Castillo, who does obviously have the better numbers this season. He is the more consistent pitcher, at least. 3.57 ERA, 1.27 whip for Seattle. He's way better at home, 2.41 ERA at home. So that's good, but his last 2 starts were awful, though they were both on the road, but he only went 4 innings in each. He allowed 19 hits, 9 earned runs. Did have a 7-3 strikeout walk ratio, which is still not really that impressive. It's too many walks. So his last 2 starts, he got absolutely lit up. But he might do better now that he's back at home. So definitely you could say he's in bad form right now. But maybe that was a bit of a blip because it was the Mets, Philly. Those are decent offenses or good offenses. And on the road, that's not an easy task. Does still have a 16-4 strikeout walk ratio this month, despite the 6.05 ERA. So his command has still been okay, so maybe he will actually do better here, but his numbers against San Diego aren't that great in 75 at-bats. He's allowed mostly like singles to them, though, so not a lot of power hitting. 20-6 strikeout walk ratio, 280 batting average is somewhat high, but a 707 OPS, not really that high. So his numbers are a bit all over the place. I mean, I would probably lean to Seattle still because just the home road splits are very much in favor of Seattle here. Yes, San Diego does have the better bullpen, so if you want to go Seattle first 5 innings in this one, that also would make sense. Seattle dropped from -120 to -109, but it looks like they have the cash coming in on them. 61% of tickets, 84% of the cash coming in on them, so the money does seem to back Seattle here. So I would agree with that, and then the total is low at 7.5, but it's getting so much juice on the over now. It looks like it's headed towards 8, even though we have 70%, 79% of tickets on the over, 68% of the cash on the over. So the cash percentage looks like it's on the under, but you're going to get a low total more often than not in Seattle, especially when you have 2 pitchers that are considered to be pretty good pitchers here. But I actually think the total is probably too low in this one. There's really no room for error there. And again, Seattle, their bullpen little bit worked right now. Could get worked in this game to some extent here potentially. Both starting pitchers don't have the greatest matchup numbers here, and they're not really in the greatest form. So I could definitely see an argument for an over more so than for an under in this one. Seattle as a side, maybe the better way to look at it, though, because of how this, in the first 5 innings, I would say, on the money line, because of the way the matchups work out, and the cash percentage is on Seattle in that one. The Patriots Super Bowls, Mumbles, Menino. The one that I remember the most, though, was the Rondo one after the Celtics. I think it was after the Celtics won in 2008. It was right around that time. He might not have been the mayor anymore, but he was still out there talking, whatever. I don't even remember. But yeah, he might have still been the mayor then, actually, because we've only had 2 mayors since then. We had Marty Walsh, who is a terrible, workers union guy, like a Democrat, but he is at least from Boston. And then we've had Mayor Wu, the Chinese communist from Chicago. So she's a total outsider, man. She's the first outsider that I'm aware of ever being mayor in Boston, at least definitely in my lifetime. Very, very, very strange. And she might get ousted by more of a local, though, here. In the upcoming election, she's going to be opposed by Josh Kraft, who is going to try to primary her. There are I don't think there are any Republicans running in that race. Or if there, I think maybe there is actually, and he announced, but it's like, I've never even heard of whoever this guy is. The biggest threat to Wu was Josh Kraft, because obviously he's Robert Kraft, the Patriots owner's son, so he has all that Kraft money. It's the Kraft mac and cheese money, man. No, I think it's a different Kraft family. I don't even know, man, but it's it's all that, it's the money from the Jays coming in there, Jay meaning Josh, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I think he'll probably win, actually, because Mayor Wu has absolutely no support, dude. Michelle Wu, she has no real organic support, and Kraft can play up the fact that he's a local dude and play up the fact that he's involved in the Patriots organization. Although he could get slandered because, of course, his father was known for getting massages and happy endings. But it's like, come on, man, what do you want? You're a rich old guy. You think you're not going to be getting rub and tugs? Like, what's wrong with you? What do you think? They're all going to do that. It's an interesting scenario, though. Kraft would be better than Wu, even though he is bad, but he's kind of trying to oppose Wu by taking the less crazy approach to all the bike lane, homeless, immigration, all that bullshit. He's at least acknowledging that there's a problem there and that Wu's solutions are not a solution. So at least there's that. Because Wu's solution is give them all sanctuary and give them all drugs. I'm not even joking. That's what's going on. The taxpayers are actually giving drug paraphernalia to druggies. That's absolutely going on. It's insane. And, of course, they've taken over the entire international terminal at Logan Airport. Terminal E at Logan Airport. Have fun if you're flying internationally into or out of Boston, because it's a homeless encampment there. So isn't that great? And, yeah, the best part of the Patriots Super Bowls, by the way, was the Giants beating them both times, but especially the first time in the 16-0 season. I loved that, dude. Not just because I actually bet the Giants in that one, even though I guess when you listen to professional handicappers now, because I was really new to betting back then. I was mostly actually playing poker back then when I was in college. I think I was out of college for 1 year when that happened. So I was transitioning over to the sports betting then. That was, I think, maybe it wasn't the first Super Bowl I bet on, because I did bet on some. I think maybe I bet on a couple of the other Super Bowls, but yeah, I think I did. But that was the one that I remember the most because, well, now I know the public actually, I guess, was taking the Giants plus the points. They were like a 12.5 point underdog, I think, something like that. But it seems weird to me that the public was on the Giants in that one, because you would think the public would only be on the undefeated Patriots with Brady. Moss put up unbelievable offensive numbers that year. And even when they played the Giants in the last week of the regular season that year, and the Giants almost beat them. It was in New York, but it was a ridiculously high-scoring game, which I remember I had a poker night that night with some of my friends from high school. They were all over my parents' house. We had poker going on while we were watching that game. I remember that night, man. Fun night, actually. I don't remember if I won or lost at poker that night, though. We would play cash style, not tournament style, because tournament style, I mean, you could buy back in, I guess, but I don't know. Well, we're going on a lot of Toad rants here, man. More Toad history here. We got to get done with all this bullshit here. Cubs, San Francisco, as you can see in the title. I'm going to give out a play on that one. Detroit and A's. I told you last night, man, I said I thought the over might be worth a look in the game, despite Skubal pitching last night. And Skubal didn't do that well. His numbers against the A's are not that good. This was in that A's stadium, which wrecks a lot of pitchers, man. It's so easy to hit home runs in this AAA stadium here from Major League bats. The A's wound up winning the game 8-3. Detroit, I mean, yeah, they have more to play for. They're fighting, to make sure they make the playoffs. They have their division almost pretty much wrapped up already, though. But the A's are just kind of playing out the stretch. The A's have a good offense, though. The A's actually have the better offense. They're actually 5th in OPS offensively. Of course, Detroit does have the better bullpen here. The A's, their bullpen has been better more recently, but they still are not good. Detroit has a lot of bullpen rest because Skubal did pitch deep into the game yesterday. So the bullpen edge certainly is on the side of Detroit here, even though the A's actually only use one relief pitcher. So we have rested bullpens here. This starting pitching matchup is a bit ridiculous to try to handicap, man. I mean, Charlie Morton for Detroit, his season has been really, really kind of crazy. He's 41 years old. He's never really been a guy that comes in and I don't think he's really been a guy that comes in and just totally blows people away, but you got to respect what he's doing, man. After it looked like maybe his career was over at the beginning of the season, he's actually pitched really well since Atlanta demoted him to the bullpen, since they brought him back to the starting rotation, and now he's on Detroit. He's actually pitching well, shockingly, for most of the season now, even though he was so bad early in the season, his numbers still suck. 5.09 ERA, 1.47 whip. Obviously, those numbers are not good. Slightly worse on the road, 5.17 ERA on the road. Of course, he is having to pitch at this horrible, horrible A's stadium here, so he's a fly ball pitcher to like a decent extent, so maybe that won't work out that well. You got to worry about those fly balls, man. But again, like I said, since he rejoined the starting rotation when he was back on Atlanta in late May, he's allowed more than 4 earned runs only twice since then. And once was at the Tampa Bay Steinbrenner Field. However, that's the closest comparison to this stadium, though. A temporary home field for a team that tends to be very home run conducive. So he didn't pitch well in that game. Gave up 7 runs in 5 1/3 innings, a couple of home runs. So there's certainly a chance he doesn't pitch well in this game. For those reasons. He had 1 bad outing since joining Detroit and 3 good outings. He gave up 6 earned runs at home against Anaheim. Still had 10 strikeouts in that outing, though, but he's given up 2 or fewer earned runs and got 6 innings in all 3 other outings against Philadelphia, Minnesota, and Houston. Philadelphia on the road, Houston at home, Minnesota on the road. So the only weak offense there that he faced was Minnesota. So he's actually still pitching pretty impressively. Maybe a pretty sneaky good pickup for Detroit at the trade deadline, man, to kind of finish off the rotation there. 29-8 strikeout walk ratio this month is pretty decent, actually, and high strikeout rate, man, crazy. And 3.63 ERA, so Morton is still in pretty good form right now, man. Believe it or not, but his numbers are not good against the A's, and he may struggle in this ballpark. They only have 17 at-bats against him, but they do have 5 strikeouts, 7 walks, so way too many walks, although 5 of them are Blade. 294 batting average allowed, 853 OPS. So overall, Morton's numbers are not very good against the A's, though. But the A's have Osvaldo Bido making the start here, and he's probably going to be an opener because it looked like it was going to be JT Ginn, I believe, was lined up for the start today, I think. So you might get Bido for like a couple innings. A terrible name, by the way. Anal Bido. Do you think he's very like nitpicky about how he pitches, so he's anal about it? Oh my God. Probably not, because his numbers are terrible. His numbers are ass. But Bido, I think you're probably going to get about 2 innings out of him, would be my guess. And then maybe JT Ginn is going to come in for a few innings behind him. I don't know, man. But Bido doesn't have good numbers this year. 5.37 ERA, 1.58 whip. Actually slightly better at home, but his ERA is basically the same both ways. But again, you can see here, his outings, like he's made a couple of starts. He's gone past 5 innings a few times, actually. Earlier in the season, he was actually making like starts, but since then he's been like coming out of the bullpen. He's made some lesser appearances. I don't think they're going to have him go out there and throw 5+ innings again here. I would guess that they're not. So he's been coming out of the bullpen. He is on kind of normal starter's rest here now, though. But my guess is he's going to come out and they'll probably give him 2 or 3 innings maybe in this one. And then maybe they actually won't use Ginn after that. But either way, you're basically going to get a lot of the A's bullpen in this game, which is not good for the pitching. Beto has good numbers against Detroit. It's only 13 at-bats, though. 154 batting average allowed and 599 OPS, 4-1 strikeout walk ratio, but he's not very good, man, so I'm not expecting him to actually do well in this outing. So this one, to me, I mean, it looks like an over to me on the surface. The total's just sitting at 11, a little bit less juice on the under. Now, 57% of tickets on the over, 67% of the cash on the over. You could definitely see Morton potentially struggle against a lineup that does hit him well in a stadium like this. So that's probably what I would lean. I would lean towards the over in this game. The money is coming in fading Detroit as well. They're down from -140 to -118. 63% of tickets on them. 78% of the cash coming in on the A's. So the actual professional money is strongly indicating on the A's here. I just don't know that you could really put your trust in an A's like almost bullpen-esque game here, man. But I could definitely see the argument for Morton not pitching particularly well here. So I still think the over is the better way for me to look at that game. But do with all that information what you will. The market read seems to be saying the A's as well. And then the Reds and Dodgers to finish this off before I get to the 3 best bets. Got the win last night on the under in the first 5 innings. We got 3 runs there in the first 5 innings. Dodgers picked up a 7-0 win yesterday. Great outing from Sheehan last night. I told you he's good, man. He is definitely good. Hunter Green, I didn't even look at the box score to see how Hunter Green did. I did see Sheehan's line was quite good. Sheehan actually had 10 strikeouts. Green actually didn't do that well. I don't know how many walks, because for some reason, when you shrink the screen, they don't show you how many walks, but he gave up all 3 runs in the 5-inning span, which I did tell you. So he wasn't as good. Sheehan actually was really, really good last night. 10 strikeouts and a 7-inning shutout. He's something, man. Pitching matchup, not quite as good in the game today. Bullpen-wise, Cincinnati generally has the better bullpen over the Dodgers, but they've had more bullpen usage. Recently, they used 3 guys yesterday. Of course, Sheehan kind of saved their bullpen yesterday. Dodgers, pretty limited bullpen usage over the last couple of days. So Dodgers bullpen usage is better, even though they don't really have the better bullpen. They certainly have the better offense. Runs per game-wise, the Dodgers are the best in all of baseball. It's scoring at home. And I think just in general, I think they actually are, even though they don't have the highest OPS in all of baseball here. I think they're second, behind the Yankees. The Yankees are just very, very erratic as far as where their runs come and when. Cincinnati has Nick Martinez making the start here. He's been okay this season. 4.59 ERA, 1.2 whip. A little bit better on the road. 4.28 ERA away from that Reds hitter-friendly stadium. He's been decent this month with a 4.5 ERA across 4 starts. 12-3 strikeout walk ratio. Actually, it was 3 starts and a bullpen appearance against the Cubs. My mistake there. The bullpen appearance, he didn't do that well. He came in relief, gave up 2 earned runs after, I think he wasn't expected to come into that game that early, though. I think it was an issue where Nick Lodolo, I think, had a blister in that game, and I don't even think he's pitched since that, actually. I'm not even sure. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but the 12-3 strikeout walk ratio is pretty good for Martinez this month. He's not walking a lot of guys, at least. Strikeout rate not really that high. Had a really bad start against Milwaukee. Gave up 5 earned runs in 2 2/3 innings. But besides that, he's been good. He had 2 good starts on the road against Pittsburgh and Anaheim, although Pittsburgh, very, very bad offense. Anaheim, not too bad. So his recent form is difficult to gauge. His numbers are good against the Dodgers, 84 at-bats. 16-7 strikeout walk ratio is not that good, but he's held him to a 214 batting average and 584 OPS. Martinez actually has done well against the Dodgers, and he might be pumped up because he gets to face the future Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw, who's still pitching and getting it done, man, even though he's 37. His strikeout stuff is not really there anymore, but he's still not giving up a lot of runs, man. He's got a 3.13 ERA, 1.2 whip, so he's using his off-speed stuff, his command, to still get the job done here. He's a little bit worse at home, though, 3.56 ERA at home. This month he's been good with a 1.9 ERA, 13-3 strikeout walk ratio. His team has won all 4 starts. He's picked up a win in all 4. although he really only faced one really good offense in Toronto. But he did go. He did have to pitch at Tampa and at Colorado, and those are hitter-friendly ballparks. He did pretty well in all of these starts. He went 6 innings in 3 of the 4. Just all of them except for the Colorado one where he gave up 3 earned runs. And besides that, he gave up 1 or fewer earned run in the other 3 starts. Again, his strikeout rate is low, but his command is good. He's not giving up a lot of hits, not giving up a lot of hard hits, not giving up a lot of walks. So he is keeping runners off the base paths. He's pitching well. His numbers against the Reds are not good, but it's a very small sample size, 15 at-bats. He's a lot of 400 average and 867 OPS, but it's a very small sample size. And it's only 1 extra base hit in there, a double from Hayes, and no walks. 5 strikeouts, no walks from Kershaw, but it's such a small sample size. I don't think there's a whole lot you can take away from that. To me, I think this game is more of an under type of game as well, man. Total's up from 8.5 to 9 here. We see 60% of tickets on the over, 76% of the cash on the under, though. So I'm thinking probably an under in the first 5 makes sense again in this one. I think the starting pitching matchup is the strongest part of the under because I don't really trust either bullpen here. So I think that's the way to go there. Wilson, what's up, man? Wilson F. Ball, you're a college football analyst. Yes, is it a college football question? Dodgers are up from -173 to -177. 87% of tickets, only 82% of the cash. So money's coming in against the Dodgers here. So it does seem like professional money, kind of thinking that Martinez maybe will at least be able to duel Clayton Kershaw here, which kind of lends itself towards maybe the under making sense again. Are you... is this Andy? Is that who I'm talking to here? Do you have like that many different alts? I bet that's who you are, right? Was Sandusky innocent? I get a lot of crap for this because, dude, I mean, there's a complete difference between defending somebody that you know is guilty of all this crap or saying that you think somebody didn't do all that crap. No, I don't think that he did it. Like, if you dig into it, you got to follow Pete Quinones on this, follow John Odermatt on this, follow John Ziegler, even though Ziegler is a Zionist with a Z. He does some of the best stuff on this, though. These are the guys that actually really dig into this and figure out what's going on in that case. Like, pretty much all of the supposed victims, I mean, they're college-aged men talking about an old man. None of them really described any details, and they all kind of wound up like either their stories made no sense or they wound up kind of recanting, and they all kind of joined like the parade late, and it was all like kind of a money grab. So if you look into it, that's what it was, man. And like there are just details that you would think some of them would have mentioned that none of them did, especially the fact that Sandusky basically does not have functional genitalia or balls, which is why even though he and his wife have adopted a lot of children, they do not have any biological children because he basically is physically incapable of that. But I think he's basically physically incapable of committing many of the acts that he's accused of. So it's just completely insane. But look into it, man. I'm the messenger here. Don't shoot me on this, man. I mean, I'm not defending any of that type of behavior at all. I just think if you look into the case, dude, I mean, we're here to challenge mainstream narratives, right? And challenge bullshit narratives, and I think that is one of them. And I'm not like a Penn State fan or anything like that, even though I know John Odermatt is a Penn State alumni, but he first started digging into this. I think Pete Quinones went on a show to tell him about it first, if I remember correctly, or maybe it was the other way around. I think actually it was Ziegler went on Odermatt's show. Odermatt had like a series with him. I think that's what it was. And then Odermatt went on Pete's show and told him about it, I think is what it is. And they all kind of, like, all of them have looked into it and whatever. But if you can find those podcasts, and if you go listen to it, I think you'll start thinking about it in a different way, man. It's crazy. Yeah, Zionism, fuck that. Let's get to the best bets, man. Hopefully I'm not going to get my channel nuked for saying what I'm saying here. All right, so the best bets here, I don't even remember what my best bets are. Oh, yeah, first one up. I think you guys are probably not going to like many of these, man. The last one you'll probably be fine with. This first one is as ugly as it gets, man. It's the Minnesota Twins run line in the first 5 innings. You can find it at +0.5 run at -102. So if it's tied through 5 innings, this will be a winner. If you want to go money line underdog, you can do that too. If you go run line, maybe you could sprinkle a little bit on the money line here. I'm going with the Twins here, man. first 5 innings only, because the Twins bullpen obviously stinks, okay? So we don't want to deal with the Twins bullpen here. Their bullpen did use a couple of guys yesterday. I mean, the bullpen scenario didn't work out well for us yesterday, so we'll leave that alone. Toronto does have the better of the bullpens. They didn't use their best relievers yesterday, so we'll leave the bullpens out of it. We're going to look at the starting pitching here, and this is a very misleading starting pitching matchup here. Toronto won yesterday 10-4. We know that too. That was the first game back from a road trip, so you would think that their offense might struggle a little bit. It didn't. They might be feeling pretty high on themselves right now. They still have a 5-game lead here in their division. They're facing a bad team. Yes, Toronto does still have to keep winning to maintain their divisional lead here, but they're going to have, you're not going to be 100% every game out, man. You're just not. And Minnesota still at least might want to show up and play well, especially after being kind of embarrassed last night. Toronto may have a tendency to take their foot off the gas a little bit in this one, but first 5 innings, we're looking at the starting pitching here, man. And yes, I know Toronto has a better offense than Minnesota, obviously. But looking at the starting pitching matchup, you think, why the hell would you want to take a guy that has a 5 ERA against a guy that has a 3 ERA? Bailey Ober, who's a guy that I've defended for a while because his numbers, like at least strikeout walk ratio wise, his numbers have been good across multiple seasons. He's a 6'9" guy, so he throws at that like really high arm angle, you know what I mean? He's a dominant physical presence, at least physical specimen, man, Bailey Ober. But he had some struggles this year, man. There's no question about that. He was pitching well early in the season. Actually, he had a really bad initial start to the season, but he always does bad in his first start of the season. Then he was doing really well. Then he started doing really terribly. But now I think he's in form again, man, because he came back from having an injury, and he was on the injured list for a while. Maybe they helped fix what was wrong with him, get things right. I know his numbers don't look good on the season. 5.05 ERA, 1.32 whip. I understand he's even worse on the road, 5.89 road ERA. So we're fading the home road splits in this one, which seems dangerous. I know his team has lost 11 straight outings of his. I get it. I understand it. They'd won 7 in a row prior to that. So it's been a tale of just completely different seasons from him, man. I get it. But since he's come back from injury, which is the month of August, he has a 19-3 strikeout walk ratio, and he's allowed fewer than 1 hit per inning and has a 4.09 ERA and hasn't allowed more than 4 runs in any outing. And that was in his first game back. It was the only road start, though, against Cleveland. But since then, he did have a decent start against Detroit, decent start against the A's last time out. His strikeout rate has gone up, so he's actually in better form again now. He's pitching well enough that I think he could do okay in this game. And then looking at the matchup numbers, Toronto has a ton of at-bats against him. This is a huge sample size, 116 at-bats, and you will usually not see a pitcher, especially a pitcher who's not really a dominant pitcher like Ober. You'll never really see a sample size that big with numbers that are this ridiculous from a pitcher, but Ober has a 33-6 strikeout walk ratio against Toronto's hitters, 181 average, allowed him 514 OPS, allowed him that big of a sample size, so Ober has definitely had their number, man. So looking at this matchup, I'm thinking, that's interesting. So I actually think that this is a lot closer between these two starting pitchers than it looks on the surface, man. Chris Bassett pitching for Toronto. His ERA is actually up above 4 now. It was in the 3s for a while, so he's not pitching as well as Ober is recently, man. So recent form does matter. Bassett, I know he's having a decent season, 4.18 ERA. His 1.34 whip is too high, though. Yes, I know he's really good at home, 2.73 ERA, so I know we're fading some extreme home road splits here. And we're even worse than that. I'm pretty sure that we're fading. Or no, we're not anymore. I was going to say, I think we're fading like this long run where he hasn't taken a loss at home. Actually, we still are because that was an extra innings game. But his team lost one of his recent starts at home against the Royals, although he pitched well in that game. But it's the Royals. They suck offensively. But yes, I know Bassett. He's done all right this season, but he's kind of an older dude. He's not really as good as his numbers make him look, although his whip doesn't really even make him look that good. But he doesn't throw that hard. He comes out, he fools people with like different moving fastballs. I think the league does have the ability to figure him out. And this month, 3.8 ERA looks good, but he has a 21-11 strikeout walk ratio with multiple walks in every outing. Aside from the fact that he struck out 10 against Pittsburgh last time out, they're a bad offense. His numbers don't look that good this month, man. 5 2/3 or fewer innings in his last 3 starts. Didn't do particularly well against Texas, who's not a good offense. That was in this stadium, and they won the game, but he didn't do well. He walked 4 guys, 4 hits allowed, somehow limited them to 3 earned runs. Texas, not a good offense, although I know Minnesota isn't either. Didn't do well against the Dodgers either, but his last start against Baltimore in late July wasn't good either. So Bassett, not really good form right now. And that was a game I believe I gave out Baltimore maybe in the first 5 innings or something in that one. I forget if it was full game or not, but that was a winner for me in that one. So we faded Bassett in that one. And I think we burned one of his streaks in that one too. Bassett, I know he doesn't have a big sample size against Minnesota, so they're not that familiar with him. 16 at bats, but the guys that have faced him have a .438 average and 1,250 OPS against him. 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. So Bassett has not pitched well against Minnesota in that limited sample. Toronto's a very public side, man. 92% of tickets, 93% of the cash. Now, it looked like the cash was coming in against them a little bit earlier. They're down from -177 to -172 here. So I think some of the actual money might be coming in and fading them. The money is also coming in on the over here, maybe expecting some runs to be scored here. But again, I'm focused on, I just think we're getting a little bit of value here with Toronto being favored by this much with this starting pitching matchup, especially just focused on the pitching matchup, the specific matchup numbers in the first 5. So Minnesota run line there. Oh, thank you, sir. Thanks for hanging out, man. Next up, you're going to probably tolerate these other plays a little bit more, I would guess. We're going to go Anaheim, and I know we're fading home road splits in this one too, man, but I think this one's easier to stomach with the given pitching matchup. We're going to go Anaheim money line first 5 innings here because obviously I don't want anything to do with Anaheim's bullpen. They're not a good bullpen. Texas's bullpen is one of the better ones in baseball. Anaheim used 4 or 5 relievers yesterday, whatever. Texas used a little bit fewer, so we'll discount the bullpens here, not include them, even though, yes, Anaheim does have the better offense over Texas here. Anaheim got the win yesterday 4-0. Texas had shut out Cleveland the prior 2 games. Yes, I know Texas does still have motivation here. They're below 500 now. They want to get back to 500. I think they're still technically trying to battle to try to make the playoffs, so they might be starting to feel that maybe we're out of it, though. And the Angels, I know the Angels are really bad. Their run differential is really bad. They're not as good as their record looks, which is not even a good record, but they might still show up for a divisional game like this, man. Texas does not score a lot at home at all, so they really struggle offensively at home. Yeah, I know they lost 4-0 yesterday, so maybe they'll want to bounce back from that, but I think this pitching matchup is really, it's what we're focused on here, and it's really where you get the edge on Anaheim here. And the money, by the way, has come in on Anaheim. It's flipped them from +112 to -107. So I think the actual money is coming in on Anaheim, even though you see 73% of tickets, 91% of the cash on Texas here. I think Anaheim might be kind of an anti-public road favorite here, even though they won yesterday, and it looks like some of the cash percentage is on Texas. I'm not sure I'm buying it. Money is coming on the over as well, flipping it to 8.5 juice to the over. 73% of tickets, 84% of the cash on the over. But we're not focused on the total here. I mean, again, an over in Texas with Texas's offense doesn't seem like the greatest idea to me, but we're looking at Yusei Kikuchi for the Angels. 3.42 ERA, good ERA on the season. I know his whip is bad, 1.42. He's not normally a guy that I want to play, especially on the road, because his home road splits are really extreme. He's bad on the road, 4.76 ERA on the road. But I think this is a good matchup for him, man. He hasn't been that great this month, but he's been okay. He's had 2 good starts, 2 bad starts, and his team has won 4 of his last 5 outings at least. And he's allowed 4 or fewer earned runs in every one of these outings at least. 4.09 ERA this month, not that bad. 21-7 strikeout walk ratio is all right. So his walk rate has been a little bit less bad this month. His strikeout rate's been a little bit higher, so that's a good sign. Yes, I know he's better at home. His 2 really good starts this month were both at home. I get that, but his road starts were against Detroit and the A's, and those are not easy tasks, man. Good offenses, and the A's, very hitter-friendly stadium. Should be an easier time for him against a weak Texas lineup, man. And Texas doesn't do that well against him. In 104 at-bats, 27-9 strikeout walk ratio, 250 batting average allowed, 685 OPS. So he's held him to some pretty low numbers here. So I do like Kikuchi. And yes, you have to pay a little bit more of a price for the first 5 because the odds makers also know that Anaheim's bigger advantage is in the first 5 because their bullpen is awful. But I think it's still worth it. If you want to go minus a half run on the run line and get the price down, that's okay too. But he's going up against Patrick Corbin, man. And Corbin, I think we're finally seeing the Corbin that we expected. He is definitely the worst of these two pitchers. 4.61 ERA, 1.41 whip, bad numbers. Yes, I know he's better at home. 3.65 ERA at home. So I know we're fading some really significant splits here in both of these games that I'm giving you here. But Corbin has been in really bad form this month, man. I think he's so fadeable right now. 11.48 ERA this month. Multiple walks in every outing, even going back into his last start last month, which, by the way, was against Anaheim, at Anaheim, although he did go 5 innings, only allowed 2 earned runs in that one. Wasn't terrible, but he allowed three walks in that one. But his starts this month have been awful. He has an 11.48 ERA, 8 strikeouts, 10 walks this month, and he's allowed almost 2 hits per inning and way more than 1 run per inning. He's just getting lit up, man. And you might say, well, he did bad against the Yankees, Philadelphia, Toronto. Yeah, those are good offenses, sure. But he also didn't bounce back, and he did bad against Kansas City in a pretty pitcher-friendly Kansas City ballpark last time out. He only lasted 3 2/3. Hasn't gone more than 4 1/3 in any outing this entire month. He's fallen off the rails, man. And Corbin, his numbers have been really bad in the last couple of seasons leading up to this season. And somehow Texas seems like they found something with him where they were able to fix pitchers and get the most out of pitchers. But Corbin, again, I think he's just come off the rails here, man. He's kind of old. It's late in the season. I think he's losing it. I thought his career was done like years ago, but he's still kind of hanging on, but he also does really badly against Anaheim in his career in 85 at-bats. 22-6 strikeout walk ratio is pretty good, but 353 average allowed, 866 OPS. So Anaheim has been able to hit him pretty well. So we're going to focus just on that starting pitching matchup there. We'll go with Anaheim in the first 5, and then to finish it off, the game that I listed in the title, because we don't really have any great matchups here, but we're going to go, this is probably the easiest one for the public to stomach here. Chicago Cubs here. The money is coming in on the Cubs, so I'm going to recommend either playing a -1 run line instead to get the price down, or split the bet half on a -1.5 run line at plus money, and the other half on the money line at -140. I mean, if you want to go upwards of -140 and just go money line, you could do that as well. There are multiple ways to play this one, man, for the Cubs here, but I like the Cubs in this one. Where are they at? Where's the National League? What are we doing? Here they are. The Cubs are up from -128 to -135 here. It does look like the cash is kind of fading them now, but I don't agree with that. 91% of tickets, only 87% of the cash on the Cubs now, so I'm a little bit worried about that. The Cubs are a road favorite, and now the money seems to be disagreeing with it, but I think we're going to get it done here, man. I think it's a situational edge for the Cubs, and I think they have the edge in most aspects of this game. San Francisco, the total is sitting at 7.5. Yeah, it's a pitcher-friendly ballpark. 68% of tickets, only 66% of the cash on San Francisco. Yeah, I know, and I know we're playing all road teams here, which is a little bit dangerous, but you'll see why we're doing it here. The total is low here, so it is expected to be a low scoring game, so do with that information what you will, I guess. It's a pitcher-friendly park, but San Francisco, they're coming home from a road trip, man, where they went to San Diego and Milwaukee. Big games there, and they beat Milwaukee in a series. They might be feeling fairly high on themselves, man. San Francisco, they don't have a whole lot left to play for, so the Cubs do have something to play for. The Cubs are still fighting for playoff positioning here. San Francisco's playing out the stretch. Yes, I know it's a big deal when the Cubs are a good team and they're coming into your house, but I think it was a bigger deal for San Francisco to beat Milwaukee on the road and beat them in a series. That was a good series for them. And you know what I say, whenever you return home from a road trip and you're having to cross time zones like this, it's not that great, man. You have to readjust to the time zone. You have to get back to family life here so you can be a little bit distracted here. The Cubs are already out on the Pacific Coast because they were just in Anaheim, and they got momentum right now. They swept Anaheim. They actually didn't play particularly well in the series. They won 2 games by 1 run each. So the Cubs, they were also coming off a big series themselves against the Brewers. So the Cubs, I think they got momentum right now. They actually don't have to adjust time zones, which is good. They're just going up the Pacific Coast there to Northern Cal here. So the travel spot actually is better for the Cubs, even though the road team here. And I think they have edges in a lot of aspects of this game. Yes, San Francisco has one of the best bullpens in baseball. Both teams were off yesterday, though, so the bullpens are rested for both sides. So I think given the situation, whatever, we'll still go full game on this. Even though, yes, the Giants have the second best bullpen ERA in all baseball. Cubs are 11th. I mean, there's not a huge disparity there. The Cubs, well, I mean, it's like a half run, so I guess that's huge-ish. But still, the Cubs have a rested bullpen. Their bullpen's not bad, so I think that kind of balances out the bullpen edge that San Francisco would normally have. I think the starting pitching also balances it out. Although if you want to go first 5 innings with the Cubs, you could do that too. But when you go with a run line like this, usually I think you want to look to go full game because then you get all the at bats, especially on the road. You get all the at bats. You get all 9 innings from the Cubs offense here, which is good if you're trying to do that. The Cubs, Boyd is pitching for the Cubs. Matthew Boyd having a really good season. 2.61 ERA, 1.04 WHIP. He's definitely been good. He's a little bit worse on the road, though, 3.09 ERA, but not expecting him to do that badly. This month, he's still been good. 19-4 strikeout walk ratio, 3.33 ERA. He struggled last time out a bit against Milwaukee, gave up 4 earned runs, but it's a good offense, Milwaukee. He struggled against Milwaukee specifically the last 2 times he faced them. And every team who's not Milwaukee, he's given up 2 or fewer earned runs in every other outing. We're going to go back. Is that the entire season? Actually, except for Cincinnati. Sorry, Cincinnati on the road, he allowed 4 earned runs once. But other than Cincinnati and then those 2 starts against Milwaukee, he's allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in every other start on the entire season. So he's been really good basically against everybody except Milwaukee. His numbers against the Giants are basically dominant in 49 at-bats. He's only allowed 9 hits, 17-2 strikeout walk ratio. Yeah, he's allowed 2 home runs, but the overall numbers are still really good. 184 batting average allowed, 522 OPS allowed. Some really good stuff from Boyd. His numbers are very, very good against San Francisco. Obviously, the Cubs have a huge offensive edge in this game. Cubs are one of the best offenses in baseball, and San Francisco is one of the worst. So there's a huge disparity there. And yes, we're going to fade Justin Verlander. I mean, Verlander, I know he's a good pitcher throughout his career. Maybe you're getting a little bit of even a discount on the Cubs just because the name Verlander is out there and it looks like a pitching duel. But Verlander, his numbers are not great this year, man. I mean, it's probably going to be his last season. 4.64 ERA, 1.44 WHIP. Not great. I mean, that WHIP is way too high. He's been a little bit better at home. It's a pitcher-friendly park, though, so both teams do have that advantage. 4.14 ERA at home. Hasn't been good this month, 5.06 ERA, although his 22-3 strikeout walk ratio is good, but 2 of his starts this month, he's gone 5 or fewer innings. Actually, 3 of them, he's gone 5 or fewer innings. And in 2 of them, he allowed 5 or more earned runs against Washington and San Diego, so not exactly the greatest offenses. The Cubs are definitely a step up offensively here. And he did face the Cubs earlier this year at Wrigley and went 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs. He was serviceable in that start, but not great. His numbers against the Cubs overall, they're good in his career just because he's Justin Verlander. 51 at-bats. Yes, he does have good numbers against him. Only 2 extra base hits, 15.5 strikeout walk ratio, 176 average, allowed 466 OPS. I get it. We're going to fade him as far as what he's done in his career against the Cubs, but he's not the Verlander of old, man. Some of those numbers are from back when he was a better pitcher. I think recent form does matter more. We're going to go with the situation. Everything factors into this, man, especially the situation as well. And, yeah, both teams were off yesterday, which sometimes when a team is returning home, they have the day off. It actually kind of exacerbates the return home situation as well. So we're going to go with the Cubs here. I know it's a public play as well. I don't like the fact that it looks like the money is not joining us now on that one, but that's the way that it is. So the 3 plays today, I'm a little bit worried, man, because I don't love this board today, but hopefully we can get something done here. The Twins, that's definitely the ugliest one. Run line first 5 innings. Anaheim, money line first 5 innings. The Angels there. And then Cubs, full game. Split bet, half on the run line, half on the money line, or you can go -1 run line, whatever you want to do on that one. That's going to do it. Long show today, man. Gave you some more Toad lore here. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Learn to Toad on Twitter and on Instagram. I post shortened content on Instagram. Bettor Off Dead, of course. Like, subscribe to the channel. Give me a boost on YouTube. I'm on audio, Spotify, and Apple, so you can give me a good review on there. That would help me out as well. And then Covered in Uke is my ukulele project. That's on YouTube as well. I'm still posting the uke on Twitter as well. I just got to get my voice better and my finger better as well. Patreon.com/LearnToToad, and there is some bonus uke content there as well available. That's going to do it. I almost did the devil horns, man. It's a metal show. Peace out, everybody. I'm just so out of it today, man. Have a good one today, man. Let's get some wins today. Peace.